Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so whenever we release a video at the Jamaica Young Police channel, you'll be the first to receive the same. Remember to share the video with your friend, your mama, papa, girlfriend, boyfriend, and your side chick and side man. Yes, and post a comment below, even just to post and say, I am here to show your appreciation of the work that we are doing here at the Jamaica Young Police channel. And thanks for being a part of the movement. So, moving on. Never knew that I'd live to see the day where police officers in Jamaica going to prison just for doing their job. So there's a case, a Mario Deane's case, a 6-1 guilty, or corrupt, exposed on Jamaica Young Police channel. Jamaican for Justice buys jury verdict. And also by where I talk about them spend money to make sure that them convict these police officers for the death of this young man, Mario Deane. May his soul rest in peace. But he wasn't killed by the police officers. He wasn't beaten by them. But now they are the ones that go into prison. I've never seen anything like that. And this is what happened when, when you have police officers who are supposed to be doing police work, they become correctional officers. And the government should do something about this. Making sure that police are not supposed to be guarding prisoners. Period. And this is an outdated strategy done by the colonizers from day one, the white men from Britain, because they did not want to pay, the correction officers to facilitate these men. And at the time, as they have expanded their responsibility when they come on to handling prisoners in their own country. We are still in the colonizer stage in our country, and the Jamaican government must do something about this to make sure that the only time police officers have anything to do with prisoners is whenever they have been arrested, booked, as they have done here in the United States. Outrage in Westmoreland, injustice unleashed in the name of justice. Let the world bear witness to one of the most disgusting, disgraceful and diabolical miscarriages of justice to ever unfold on Jamaican soil. On the 23rd of May 2025, 3 law-abiding officers of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, Corporal Ilian Stewart and District Constables Marlon Grant and Juliana Clevon, were wrongfully convicted for the 2014 death of Mario Deane, a known ganja smoker who was arrested and placed in a cell with violent offenders. From the information received and independently verified, it is now becoming increasingly clear that the trial verdict was not a result of law, logics, or evidence, but bribery, corruption, and the greasy hands of Jamaican for Justice, the supposed human rights watchdog that has shown itself to be nothing more than an infiltrated appendage of the PMP LGBTQ plus criminal organization. And let us break this face down. Remember, it was April 29th, 2025, that Jamaican for Justice was caught on camera paying protesters to protest against the police. So when we receive information that they have corruptly bribed the jurors, we are not surprised or shocked. But this is how much they hate the police, that they are willing to buy jury verdict. No man, this must be investigated. These jurors must be investigated. So the one that did not convict was using evidence, logics. Yeah, so we know that's how these people, how them operate. So the verdict bought and paid for. The 7-member jury returned 6-1 guilty verdict after a mere 2 hours of deliberation, following 29 days of conflicting testimony and 7 days of judicial summation. 7 days, 2 hours. If you are tired of seeing criminals get away with murder, tired of hearing excuses for the wicked, then it's time to take action. Hit that subscription button now and stay in the loop with the Jamaica Young Police channel. We are not here to sugarcoat. We are here to expose the truth, bring justice, and make sure the real heroes get the recognition they deserve. Don't wait for the change. Be the change. Subscribe, like, and let's make some noise and hold those criminals accountable. Justice in action. Speak up. Crime must fall. And remember that we have go inside the description box and you'll see various links to various things for the Jamaican Young Police channel. JamaicaYoungPoliceChannel.com, where you see articles and stuff like that. Those who like to read, and and we continue to give you guys exceptional material over here. So, moving on. Yes, welcome to the Jamaica Young Police channel. To our loyal viewers, subscribers and Patreon member. At the channel, we are a group of law-abiding citizens who believe in the rule of law and respect the rights of every citizen, but not the ones who do not subscribe to such behavior. We do believe in and support preemptive strikes because they save lives. This is a logical conclusion because preemptive strikes save lives and prevent the further loss of lives. We are all about saving lives at this channel. We at the channel aid criminals with a passion and do not want them over here. We do not want your views, your subscriptions, your likes or your comments. Please go elsewhere where the red carpet is waiting for you. Over here, we want you to go to prison or the departure lounge at Madden. Moving on to today's video. And nearly 5 weeks of evidence and cross-examination. Who they think they are fooling? 2 hours. This was not deliberation. This was a rubber stamp, coordinated behind closed door, fueled by bribes and orchestrated by Jamaicans for Justice operatives, whose goal was to scapegoat 3 hard-working police officers to satisfy an anti-police agenda and secure a political victory for their corrupt sponsors, the PMP LGBTQ plus criminal organization. Crown witness, a jailhouse liar. The prosecution's star witness was an inmate, a man locked up for criminal activity, who suddenly became the Crown golden boy. Criminal, his testimony was riddled with inconsistencies, contradictions and outright lies, so much that Justice Courtney Day himself instructed the juror to consider whether his entire story should be thrown out. Why they didn't throw it out? Yet despite this glaring unreliability, the jury still finds all 3 cops guilty. Blindly trusted a convicted criminal's words over officers who have served the nation with distinction. How? Why? Because money talk, and Jamaicans for Justice at the microphone. Evidence tampering, a joke that became a charge. The prosecution alleged that Corporal Stewart ordered the cell to be cleaned to pervert the course of justice. Let's make one thing clear. Cleaning a jail cell after an incident is standard procedure, not obstruction. This is not evidence of guilt. The police officer did not commit any crime. They did not harm this man. They didn't beat him. It is a desperate attempt to manufacture wrongdoing where none exists. This is what evil looks like. So they manufactured wrongdoing when there was none existed. So, and let's not forget, Mario Deane wasn't beaten by these officers. He was allegedly beaten by other inmates. So why are the people who were on duty and did not physically harm him now being crucified? Simple political theatre. Where's the justice for the police? These officers, Corporal Ilian Stewart, District Constable Marlon Grant, and District Constable Juliana Clevan, are now sacrificial lamb and an altar of a political vendetta. They didn't kill Mario Deane. They didn't instigate violence. They didn't conspire conspire to harm anyone. What they did was serve their country in a dangerous, thankless, underpaid profession where they risk their lives daily to uphold the law. Their only real crime was wearing a uniform in a country where criminals are glorified, revered, lauded, and celebrated, and police are demonized. That's the reason why. Imagine you are being convicted of a crime in which you did not touch a person, you did not harm them, and you are convicted for what somebody else has done. Jamaican for Justice, the real perverters of justice. Make no mistake, this trial was hijacked, plain and simple. The same Jamaicans for Justice that remain silent on gang rapes, extortions, and brutal murders committed by the PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization. You know, you didn't mention a word when Philip Palwell, daughter and mother was killed. Jylan Silvera murdered his wife. And I can go on and on. Them killed a police officer over the weekend. Kamal Main, not even condolences, because remember, there's a criminal organization. And Jamaican for Justice and the PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization has suddenly found its voice to railroad 3 officers trying to do their job. This is not justice. This is vengeance disguised as virtue. This is what happened when politics poison the courtroom and activists are allowed to masquerade as human rights champions. To the hardworking, honest, ethical police officers still wearing the badge, know this, you are not alone. The people see what's going on. The people know who the real criminals are. And this travesty of justice will not go unanswered. Imagine a convicted criminal is the star witness of the crown. A convicted criminal. Since when a convicted criminal word is more authentic than a police officer? So share this far and wide. Let every law-abiding citizen know what happened. Demand an investigation into jury tampering and bribery linked to Jamaicans for Justice. Stand in support of Corporal Stewart, Constable Grant, and Constable Cleveland. This is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of reckoning. This is a shameful verdict. A sad day for justice in Jamaica. 6-1 verdict exposed a dark truth. We can tell you that every day, TVG and CVM and the other media also, them beat the police. And we blame ourselves because we did not do anything about it. Mario Deane wasn't killed by the cops. He was sacrificed by corrupt jurors and their masters at Jamaicans for Justice, which is an arm of the PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization, and they celebrate the verdict. Can you believe? So over the weekend, the PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization and Jamaicans for Justice celebrated the death, the murder of Corporal Kamal Main. Less than a week after, they get to celebrate the conviction of 3 police officers who haven't committed any crime, but just to clean up a cell after it has been desecrated. Let's be very clear. These 3 police officers did not kill Mario Deane. The real executioners were the corrupt forces behind the scenes. Those who bought this verdict like a pound of yam at Coronation Market. The verdict was bought and everyone knows it. It didn't take long after the jury delivered its 6-1 verdict for word to start circulating about what really happened in that jury room. From credible information received and obtained, at least 3 of the jurors were paid off, bribed through surrogates linked to the PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization overlords and linked to Jamaican for Justice, acting on the dirty orders of their political overlords from the PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization. The goal was never justice. The goal was revenge. The goal was to publicly crucify police officers to please an international donor class and create the illusion that Jamaicans for Justice is holding power accountable. What they're actually doing is weaponizing justice against those who serve and protect. The lone juror who stood for truth, amidst the sea of corruption, sat one brave juror, a patriotic Jamaican who refused to be swayed, bought or bullied into going along with this circus. The juror defending the cops stood on principle and rejected the lies spun by a known jailhouse snitch, informer, criminal, and the prosecution's shaky case. But unfortunately, truth was outnumbered. The one juror could not hold back the wave of criminal-minded activism disguised as justice. The others, now exposed as PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization activists in disguise, should hang their heads in shame. But I will say it before and we say again, people who are PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization supporters, activists and voters, they have no shame. You can't shame the shameless. But one thing we can tell all of you, you didn't serve justice. You served 30 pieces of silver. The real victims, the 3 cops who did their job. Let's not forget who these 3 police officers are. They are people. Corporal Elian Stewart, District Constable Marlon Grant, Constable Juliana Clevan. These are not killers. They are not criminals. They are public servants who wore the uniform, work in high-risk conditions, and carried out their duties to the best of their ability. Now, they have been wrongfully convicted, not because of evidence, but because of a hijacked jury and a political agenda. And they'll ratchet up the propaganda against these police officers in the media. TVJ, CVM, Jamaica Gleaner, and the Observer. They were sent to prison to satisfy bloodthirsty anti-police radicals who would rather see murderers walk free than see a cop do their job with integrity. So the police officers who were in court, they know the juror them, I know them. Jamaicans for Justice, from justice advocates to justice assassins. For years, Jamaicans for Justice has been masquerading as a rights organization while acting as... Yeah, so, this is the channel that we have been telling you about. United we win, divided we lose. A call to action for all decent, ethical, and truth-seeking people. Brothers and sisters, let's speak some truth. Division has always been the weapon of the wicked. The ultimate tragedy used by corrupt governments, dishonest leaders, and power-hungry manipulators. They divide to conquer. They pit communities against each other. They turn neighbors against neighbor, tribe against tribe, race against race, because they know the terrifying power we hold when we are united under truth, justice, and purpose. That's why united we win, divided we lose. It's not just a slogan, it's a movement, a philosophy, a rallying cry for every decent, ethical, and truth-loving soul on this planet. We are all calling on you to be a part of something greater. This is not just another YouTube channel. This is an international platform that transcends borders, cultures, and languages. It reaches across the ocean and finds its way into the hearts, homes, and minds of people like you. People who refuse to be manipulated. People who are hungry for truth. And people who stand for what is right, even when it's not popular. We believe in what is right, not who is right. That's what it's all about. So we expose what others are afraid to even whisper. So this channel reach across oceans and find its way into the hearts and minds of people like you, people who refuse to be manipulated. So we expose what others are afraid, because they themselves are afraid. We uplift voices that have been silenced. We connect the dots, several, reveal the agendas and show the patterns behind the lies that the mainstream buries. We cannot do it alone. Your subscription is more than just a click. It's a declaration that you are no longer asleep, that you refuse to be divided, that you see the power in unity, that you are choosing truth over propaganda, ethics over corruption, courage over silence. So I am personally inviting you, subscribe to United We Win, Divided We Lose channel, a home for truth seekers, the whistleblowers, the freedom fighters, and those who still believe in values and virtues and in victory through unity. Because remember, evil thrives when good people are silent and divided. But when we unite, we win, always. So join the movement, click, subscribe and select all and let your voice be counted among the courageous. The political hit squad deeply embedded in the judicial system, academia, and now the jury pool. So they have ratcheted up their infiltration. They have mastered the heart of public manipulation, whipping up emotional outrage, vilifying the police, and then stacking juries with activists and sympathizers who already believe that every cop is a killer. They claim to seek justice for the dead, but what they really want is submission from the living. The country must speak up. We must call this what it is, a sham trial, a stage verdict, a disgraceful day in Jamaican history. This is not justice. This is a politically engineered punishment handed down by a jury tainted with bribes and brainwashing. The PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization has once again shown how deep its claws are buried in the system, using Jamaicans for justice as its front and sacrificing innocent police officers for optics and political gain. They are the one that created the environment of hating the police. From I was a little boy, I can remember the first thing that they taught you as you can have any form of sense or thinking they impart to you in my community of Jonestown. Every police officer for dead, every police our enemy, and every labourite for dead. But I did not buy it, because I had a mother who had a conscience, a mother who had decency, ethics, truthfulness, and most of all, a brain. To Jamaicans for justice, your name is now a sick joke. The jurors who took money and sent innocent people to prison, you have disgraced yourself and betrayed your country. In which you know that people who align with the PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization, they are not Jamaicans, they are PNP activists. You are the very definition of hypocrisy in human rights clothing. And to the people of Jamaica, wake up. If they can do this to uniformed officers in broad daylight, imagine what they'll do to you when no one is watching. This is not the end of the fight, it's the beginning of reckoning. Travesty of justice, 6-1 verdict exposing a corrupt system. Now the Jamaican Police Federation must rise. What happened in the Westmoreland Circuit Court is nothing short of a legal sacrilege. A 6-1 guilty verdict, not based on truth, not based on facts, but built entirely on fabrication, political pressure, and pure anti-police venom spewed by Jamaicans for justice and the PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization masters. Let the record be clear, these officers did not kill Mario Deane. The real crime committed was the public lynching of 3 innocent police officers, Corporal Ilian Stewart and District Constable Marlon Grant and District Constable Juliana Clevan, by a tainted jury infiltrated and manipulated by radical activists and operatives working in the shadows. A verdict written in blood money. This 6-1 decision is a stain on the face of Jamaican jurisprudence. It screams of jury tampering, of political interference, and of vendetta fuel activism disguised as justice. It reminds the nation that truth does not always prevail in courtrooms, compromised by bribery and betrayal. Jamaicans for justice, who says that Jamaican for Injustice and the PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization gang of political con artists are now celebrating, raising their fist in twisted victory, knowing full well they didn't win on merit. They bought this verdict, bullied the court, and bribed their way into a guilty chant. Now the Jamaican Police Federation must strike back. The time for silence is over. The time for diplomacy is done. Now is the time for action. The Jamaican Police Federation must immediately secure bail for all 3 wrongly convicted officers. They must not spend a single day in prison or jail for a crime they didn't commit. File an immediate appeal to have the fraudulent conviction overturned. This is a fraudulent verdict, and file it so the Court of Appeal can overturn it. Launch an investigation into jury tampering, especially the link between Jamaicans for Justice, political operatives, and the compromised jurors. Mobilize national and international attention on this miscarriage of justice. Let the world know that what is being done to Jamaica's frontline heroes. If the Federation fails to hack, every member of the force will be made to feel the weight of this injustice. Because today, it's Corporal Stewart, District Constables Grant and Clevon. Tomorrow, it could be you. We mourn while the enemies of justice celebrate. As law-abiding citizens mourn the collapse of reasons, Jamaicans for Justice and the PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization is celebrating. As decent Jamaicans cried out for justice, the PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization is clinking glasses. While we fight for truth, they toast to corruption. They believe they have won, but what they don't realize is that this shameful verdict has awaiting a storm. The people will not forget. The streets are watching, the communities are talking, the force is paying attention. The lies told in the courtroom, the manipulation of the jury, the bias of the system, none of it will be forgotten. And more importantly, none of it will stand. This judge knows that the main witness, prosecution witness, is a convicted criminal and a liar. The man lie, the man lie, the man lie. And even the judge said, why didn't he throw the case? You have to understand that all of these people, it's a part of a cabal. In Jamaica, when you're a police officer, you are the most hated person. You're a criminal, you're lauded, revered, and celebrated. Just like this criminal that testify against the police officers. There's no honest criminal or liars. Every criminal are liars. Every criminals, they are liars. Jamaicans for Justice, you are no longer voice of the voiceless. You have become the blade of the political executioner. And more importantly, we know that you are enemy of the Jamaican people, the poor. And you showed your face on August 29, 2025. PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization agents, you have exposed yourself as enemy of decency, infiltrators of justice, and architects of chaos. Your hands are soaked, not in the blood of Mario Deane, but in the honor and dignity of innocent officers you have destroyed for sport. To the Jamaican Federation, now is your moment. Yes, Corporal Sergeant Arlene McBean, defend your members, defend the truth, defend the badge. Appeal this verdict. Bail these officers. Burn this verdict to the ground in court. Let the cry ring loud across the land. Not in our name. Not on our watch. And we see and we know we're enemies. And we know we're enemies in Jamaica. Are the PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization and Jamaican for Justice. They never like the police. They have never seen a murderer or a criminal that they never love. And the time for action is now. We cannot allow these police officers to go to prison innocently. They haven't done anything wrong. They haven't touched this man. They are not the ones that killed Mario Deane. But you know, the criminals, enablers and propagandists in the media, they have been selling this case to the public. And you know that Jamaicans, especially the people who are PMP, LGBTQ plus criminal organizations, supporters, activists and voters, they hate the police. Because the police are the ones who are preventing them from committing crimes. Have yourself a beautiful day. Jamaica Young Police Channel. Out.